What a beautiful day. And today we're going to talk about finishing. Now I finished my beard. Don't know if I'm gonna go with this look for the rest of the summer, but it is quite fresh. I do feel and look very different though. I feel like the mouth becomes smaller and the nose becomes a lot fucking bigger when you don't have a beard. That is if you actually have a big nose, of which I probably have, fortunately. So, in this day and age, AI, everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid of starting something or going through something. They don't know what they're going to study because they don't know if they're gonna get a job. Well, I got good news for you. You should probably choose whatever it is that you want, and you will probably have an effect on the world. I don't know how big of an effect, but the funny part or the good part is that you only have to think about yourself most of the time. So you should probably do whatever it is that you want. Now, let me tell you a story, because stories are what I tell. Stories are what I do. Might get into filmmaking one day, but not today. But I like to paint a picture, and hopefully you like my paintings. That's the whole point of this. Just got a stupid text message from a guy. Sorry. Not sorry. However, this story is about a craftsman. A craftsman that calls himself a craftsman, but you'll know what is wrong with him. And not necessarily what is wrong with him. There's something wrong with what he does and what he doesn't do. So this craftsman, he I don't know if he even finished his education, but he decided to build houses, of course. And the goal was to build 100 beautiful houses. Now, don't ask me why. Maybe he had 4 wives, maybe he had 100 friends, maybe he had whatever he had. But the guy was extremely decisive, especially in the beginning. Now, at first, he was extremely excited. Started off, built. And then he came to like the 80% mark. And then for some reason, he stopped. Because inspiration ended. There was something a bit wrong with the house. The last 20% were boring. The last 20% had a bit of risk to it. Wasn't really sure about the price of the houses. So we felt like maybe it's a lot easier to just quit. Maybe it's just a lot easier to start on another house. I mean, I'm making 100. Well, that guy, he died surrounded by frames. Never really done. Never did the roof. Maybe the roof would have made the house so beautiful. But he never got to 100%. On the other hand, he had a neighbor. Wasn't a craftsman, definitely not. But he decided to build one house. And he actually built it. It was an ugly house. Really, really ugly. But he finished, and he had a place to live. The principle here, guys, is pretty clear. Starting is cheap every time. And God only knows that sometimes starting can be a bit expensive as well. But the last 20%, or 10, or 5, or 1% is the entire price. That is when we show who we are. The difference between a dream and just a thing is whether or not we stay through the bad part, the last part, the whole thing. Now, inspiration will always end. Motivation will probably end. Discipline also has its up and downs. But staying calm, staying patient, living with the days where nothing really happened, but to still continue the next day. That is what makes us go all the way. Now, from my own experience, because I always talk about stuff where I have a bit of experience, not the most, but a bit. Sometimes on our way, we just find something better. Sometimes it's a lot better. So if someone actually stopped him and said, you know what, I've seen 30% of your house, I would like to pay you 10 times more for you to do mine first, then it's not a problem to do the other guy's house first, especially if you can stay in it, especially if he could help you, especially if you could learn something. So just because you put a goal out there doesn't necessarily mean that you will finish it. But if you can, and if you should definitely do it. Where inspiration ends, patience begins. And I am very, very sad to say, but when you don't have the money, when you sometimes don't even have the competence, the only thing you'll have is time. And by working the right way, for sometimes a very long time, you will have something very, very beautiful. Stay dangerous and breathe through your nose.